Hello, my friend. You asked me to talk to you about coping in difficult times when you feel disenchanted and despondent and you feel like giving up and you feel as if there's nothing you can do to make things better. Because it isn't about you and your life, it is about the wider scale of what is going on in society. But my friend, society is you and I together. And each of us has to take what happens in the world seriously as a challenge to ourselves to step up to the plate and change the way we deal with our lives and the way we expect for things to go well. Now, my friend, we have to think again, and we have to work together, and we have to make changes in our lives, and we have to figure it out. During times when society appears to be crumbling and the future looks completely bleak, that is when you might get troubled at first and inclined to become passive and complaining about it, but it is also the time when you are challenged to build new strength. And remember that when you despair, you are cutting yourself off from your future. That is what despair is. You put a barrier between where you are now and where you thought you wanted to get. And you think, oh, that is now never going to happen. But in doing that, you create that barrier and you reinforce the barrier. So what you need to do in a time of despair is to know that you now have to lift yourself to a place from where you can see over that barrier, my friend, instead of making it bigger. It is the same as when you go for a walk and you come to a point where you cannot pass because there's a river or something else. And what you do is that, well, you can look at a map, of course, and it helps to get knowledge about things and to look up the facts and get yourself an education about what is going on. That helps enormously. And it also helps to take action and to walk up a hill and to look at the landscape from a different perspective and look also in a different direction. If the road ahead is blocked, then what other options are there? Yes, my friend, that is what you have to do. Instead of sitting down and despairing, you have to learn to work with the difficulties and give yourself some time to think about how to remove yourself from that position of giving up. Of course, you have to let go of a lot of the past situations that you were assuming would just carry on as they were. But in that process, my friend, you also find yourself in a situation of liberation. Now new options are open to you, and you will be forced towards those options. You will be forced to learn new things, new skills, new information, and gather it up. You may be forced to learn to think about things in a new way, together with other people, to create connections with others because you need to work together. So communication and community become ever more important, and your ability to thrive in those circumstances and to work together and to enjoy that work together may surprise you, my friend, and you may look back on that in the end, remembering how you dreaded it all and how it turned into this opportunity for you to make new friends, to learn new skills, to do new things, to discover new worlds, new pathways, new objectives, new purpose, new projects in life, my friend. And you will also learn to turn danger into possibilities and to be equal to your challenges, to build that courage, that determination, to build your character in that process. And that is what you have to do now, my friend, as people throughout history in every culture have had to do when they have come up short against catastrophes and disasters in the shape of natural disasters or wars or violence or other horrible things happening in the world. You discover that you have to be willing, you have to be able, you have to contribute what you can, and you have to put resources together. You have to problem solve, and like rats in a maze who will find a different road than the one they're used to when they're blocked, you too, my friend, will find your capacity for thinking creatively and discovering new ways of doing things, and you will get much gratification and much pleasure out of that once you get going with it. And you will discover that this is how you become a person that you can respect. This is how you will rise to becoming a better person than you have ever been. But only if you do these things, my friend, and you stand up and you get going and you take action. And so learn to play with the difficulties, my friend. Learn to play with them and learn to rediscover your curiosity for how things can be done differently, and to be in awe and wonder again about your own variety of possibilities and the renewing of your efforts and your powers that will ensue when you get going. The resurgence in your life will surprise you and amaze you, and you will realize that in the same way in which sometimes storms in nature clear a path and make new life possible, in the same way catastrophes in society sometimes open us up to new vistas and new freedoms and new ideas about what is important and what we need to do. Allow your brain to be in good shape by nurturing yourself and sleeping properly, and by joining in with good projects and not isolating yourself. And educate yourself, learn new things so that you can look beyond the obstacles and envision a new future, my friend, instead of despairing of the future that will not now happen. Don't just be a number. Be the creative person who brings about the change that is needed. Be part of the solution. Be part of the building of the new. Allow yourself to rebel a bit, to rebuild a lot, to transform the situation, to overcome, to create, to rise above your crisis, and to feel, my friend, the joy of being alive and having to solve problems, the joy of knowing that you have this vitality which will only become greater when you do this work, the work that is now required of you, my friend, because nobody will do it for you. But you can encourage others to join you. You're not alone in it. Never. You just have to connect